Welcome everyone to my Diva Devil Angel podcast, and I am so thrilled to have Willard Baker here with me. Yay, Willard! Yay. I feel like he's a celebrity, seriously, he is a celebrity, and when he tells you about his career, you're going to agree with me. So, we're going to start there, Willard. So,
what did you say it was? Diva?
Diva Devil Angel.
Diva, Devil, Angel. Am I a diva, a devil,
I feel like
angel?
You could be...
All three.
All three. And that's exactly why we did it, because I feel like everybody, men and women, is a diva at some point in their life.
Yes.
We're all devilish. We all have evil in us, right?
Absolutely.
Some more than others. Mm-hmm. And we're all angels at some point in our life. So that's where we came up with the idea. So you can be a diva tonight. You can be whatever you want. Talk about like a little bit about your career, maybe, or should we not even go there with that and get right into it?
I mean, it's okay. I mean, what do you want me to talk about? Just what I do for a living?
Kind of like what we just did.
Yeah.
Just tell us a little bit about your career.
Yeah, I went to film school, Philadelphia, and then I started working in television, and now I'm. What would you say, a cinematographer, a director of photography for mostly sports?
You're a celebrity, and I'm going to say that because you are. He is a celebrity.
Yeah, I've done Super Bowls and Masters, blah, 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 blah.
Let's talk about that because people want to know that. Like, they think it's so interesting because I put you on Facebook today. I don't know if you saw it, but...
No, I'm going to get to that, too.
I put it on Facebook, I'm like...
I'm going to get to that, too. Like, there's actually a study that says people off of social media are 10% happier. And I can use all the help I can get. So, I had given up on Facebook because I checked in at the Super Bowl one time. Will Baker has checked in at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and someone commented, and it really hurt my feelings. Like, they were like, "Oh, we know what you do for a living. Good for you. Like, you don't have to rub it in." And I go, "Okay." I told Tracy, "I'm getting off of social media. I'm getting off of Facebook." Gave that up. So that wasn't a problem, but I do like Instagram.
Instagram, yeah.
I follow filmmakers. There's great information out there, and I'll get into talking about Sam, the guy I work with, but as a challenge to me, he said, "I want you for the weekend to get off social media, Instagram." Because I would get caught up in it, like...
Everybody gets caught up.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Again, you're looking at these images that you think are these perfect lives, and you're like, exactly. But you can tell the best story in your mind about like somebody else. You know what I mean? And I constantly had issues with judging myself through other people's eyes. It was awful. But I said, okay, oh man, that's gonna be tough. I love Instagram. I'll do it for the weekend. Now, I remember I was at Hilton Head doing golf, and I said, I'll do it for the weekend. And that was like 4 years ago. Wow. So I've never been back, never been on it. Now people send me stuff, I can't open it, and I'm like, but am I 10% happier? I don't know. I'm glad not to be. A
lot of people have told me that. Yeah. That would eliminate a lot of...
Yeah, of yourself,
To just not worry about what people think.
Right,
and
right.
That brings anxiety. Mm-hmm. That brings a lot of anxiety.
Actually, I got into accounting because my dad was an accountant, and I failed miserably. Mm-hmm. And I remember my mom, very short Italian woman, said, "You better figure out something to do, because I'm not supporting you my whole life." So I kind of got into, I always had an interest in movies and television as forever. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't?
Right.
I never thought about it as a realistic career choice, but then I went to Northampton Community College, and they offered a great television course, and I got into it, and really worked hard and gravitated towards some of the principles, and I started winning awards right away, editing awards, shooting awards, documentary awards,
He's an Emmy winner, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yes,
I should have started with that. I mean, that's
six-time Emmy.
6 times? Are you serious? I didn't know that. Oh my gosh, we have a celebrity here. This is awesome.
But no, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I would rather win an Emmy for something that I was really personal project. Like, a lot of my Emmys were part of, like, the Super Bowl or the Masters, where hundreds of people are winning these things. So, don't get me wrong, I'm extremely proud of them.
Absolutely, as you should be.
But, I mean, it would mean more to me to win something that just went to, like, a few people.
Right, like a documentary type of thing.
Yes, exactly.
Or something like that.
Exactly.
So you travel a lot, obviously.
I do.
Which is why I'm so happy you're here, because I think this is the day that you're, like, not traveling.
I got home from Puerto Vallarta yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. I'm leaving 2 days for Alabama for golf, so
wow.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. So do you like the traveling part? Or?
I used to hate it because of the anxiety, and used to blame my traveling for my anxiety. I mean, I would blame everything.
So let me just preface by saying we're having Willard on today. He's my first male guest, which we're so excited about. Cheers to that, Willard.
Cheers.
So, but what we really want to talk about, and it's really not, and I know we spoke about this before a little bit, men with anxiety, depression, really not talked about a lot, I feel like.
No.
You know? And I feel like more men need to talk about it or come out there. Why do you think that is? Where, you know, you see women, you know, what they go through, anxiety, depression, all that kind of stuff, especially maybe after a baby, after a divorce, whatever. But you don't hear a lot of men say, boy, I'm really anxious today, you know, or, you know, I feel depressed. You know, I feel like men are just, you know, out there doing their thing, keep it all inside.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, like, how did you deal with that, or maybe even start out knowing
At first, not very well. Like, I tried to keep it, like, I think, you know, society kind of tells us, you know, men have to be this, like, you know, strong presence, you know, I mean, everything that our core beliefs have taught us go against probably. I think, you know, part of my upbringing, which may have been the cause or the root of my, you know, negative thinking habits, were actually also beneficial in how open we were in my family to talk about anything.
Okay,
so
good.
I was like, I'm kind of done fighting this battle on my own. Like, I need help. You know, I would have major panic attacks in the middle of the LSU Alabama game or an NFL game I'm doing. I'm like, just get me the next 2 minutes out of my way.
What did your panic attack consist of? Like heart, like?
Well, I would have all those feelings, you know, like they were very physical. You're like, I'm having a heart attack. I know I'm not having a heart attack. This is anxiety. And maybe I'm wrong that it wasn't a panic attack more than just anxiety. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is a difference. Like, I was just overwhelmed.
Like, you don't know what to do with yourself?
I mean, like,
rip
out of my skin, like, get me out of this situation and nowhere to go. Another camera guy and I talk in great detail. He's on my NFL crew. We're on the Jim Nantz, Tony Romo crew, so we do the A game. We do Super Bowls. There's a lot of pressure. Every week, we are the main television game of the week. Which led me to find the guy that I have to deal with that. But I would be open about it, and he came out and shared a lot of his, and we communicate a lot. Still to this day, I told him, his name is Keith, he would love to know that I brought him up because he has helped me as much as I've helped him, and we share a lot of, and the more we spoke about it, the more other people came to us and shared their stories, and that's what I found. The more I opened up about it, the more I was running into people that said, "Oh yeah, I got
I
that."
deal with that.
Well, everybody if you're a human being, you have anxiety levels of it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, they were debilitating. Where were we going again? What was our train of thought when we were saying?
What was our train of thought?
like
how you knew it started, and what are the symptoms with the panic attack?
Oh yeah. So panic attack versus anxiety. Like I don't know. Yeah, I would sit in bed. I would have the heart. I have friends dealing with it, and they still do not admit that it's panic.
What do they think it is? I mean,
I have a cameraman that's been to 7 heart specialists. I'm like, bro, you do not have a heart ailment. I'm not a doctor, believe me.
Right.
Probably it's not a good idea for me to say that, but I'm like, I know exactly what you're dealing with.
Because you felt it. You dealt with it. So.
Oh, I know. So me and my friend Keith, we said this, and like this encapsulates it. I feel like anxiety, panic attacks too, are the closest thing to dying without dying. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm fainting, I'm going down, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna whatever, like, and you're like trying to work your way through that, and I'm doing a game or I'm doing an interview with Tracy Wolfson, and my head is spinning, and I'm like, I'm gonna put this camera down and run off this field, and I can't do that. So I mean, I think it's helped me actually deal with it because I've been in those situations, and I've said, I'm not dying. This is anxiety. And again, the guy I work with has helped me say these things that allow me to say,
Can we talk about Sam?
Yeah. So I was basically, self-help books like crazy. I went to so many therapists, bad ones, and like meeting a good therapist is like meeting a good spouse. I say, I don't have sex with Sam. Maybe I would, but I'm kidding.
Tracy's watching.
Yeah, sorry, Tracy. But no, he's a great dude. I met so many people locally, and which started off okay, and then I was like, I don't know, and I was desperate. Like, you could have probably said anything.
You just knew you needed help.
I needed help.
You knew you had to get help. You had to get it under control.
Yes, and I had to get some medication that, would get me through, like, until I developed coping skills.
Right.
Because I didn't have it. I just was like running.
Well, we
aimlessly.
don't know coping skills.
No, I had none. So so I went to one, and I was like, every time I see a window, I think I want to jump out. Like, and then I'll have that thought, and it'll just keep going and going, and it'll create anxiety and panic, and then I'll get depressed about it. Mm-hmm. What came first, the anxiety or the depression? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't care. They go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. If you have anxiety, there's probably a correlating depression, or vice versa. I didn't really.
No, when I think of depression sometimes, because I do have both as well. Mm-hmm. There are days that I just don't even want to get out of bed.
Yeah. There's days where I haven't got out of bed. I still have an image in my head when I couldn't move for 3 days, and I'm probably over exaggerating. Felt like Rain was, I don't know,
maybe
6, 5, and I remember her petting the back of my hair in bed, and she's like, "Daddy, you're gonna be alright." I was just like, I need to, like, get my shit together, And,
but you know what though? It's so hard when you're feeling that way, because you think, well, I know I shouldn't be feeling this way.
Yeah.
Like, I know I should get up, get a shower, do this, do that, I have stuff to do or whatever. But it's like you can't. Or if you see other people doing that, you're like, snap out of it.
Yeah.
Come on, get up, get a shower. It's not that easy.
Not that easy. Exactly. Tracy's got like this annoying sense of half full.
Yeah. Tracy's very positive.
Yeah. I'm talking to a producer, a creator of a show on Netflix, and I might be getting involved in that.
Oh my gosh.
But I even said to Tracy the other day, I'm like, this is kind of like, everybody's going through the motions. Nothing's really going to happen. I mean, I stay optimistic and positive, and I say all the right things. But Tracy's like, you're so half empty.
I can see her.
I'm like, babe, I work hard at trying to be half full. I'm just trying to be realistic.
You're realistic.
But she's right. Like, I mean, again, you say those things, and your mind believes it because your brain wants to be right.
Yes.
It wants to find reasons for validating your thoughts. I'm a bad dad. I'm a failure. Whatever it is, they go in there and they stay in there, and they etch in your brain, and
they ruminate, like you said.
Yeah, they definitely ruminate, and they come back, and they come back sometimes when you least expect it. But they stay in there, and so anyway, getting back to Sam, because this is really cool. I met guys like, I think I'm going to go in a different direction. Thank you so much for seeing me. God be with you, the one guy said. And I'm like, fuck, I must be really fucked up.
He doesn't even...
God be with me. Like, I'm like, oh shit, this guy knows I need help. I probably not a good idea to leave him. But I realized what a shitty thing to say to someone.
Seriously.
And if you're a professional, like that sucks.
Yeah,
and it took me a long time to realize that. Like, I was so like, that bothered me for months. Like, oh my God, like.
Because that probably made you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm really screwed now.
I'm fucked up.
Like, God is the only one that can help me now.
Exactly.
So you found the right person.
Well, I did, and again, I had to draw a line in the sand, and I'm like, self-help book, and I started like Googling like some of the shit that I was going through, like obsessive thoughts and obsessive actions and obsessive and just like debilitating depression where I can't like move, I can't get out of bed, anxiety, panic. And, it would come and go, like, and all the time, still functioning, still working, still trying to be a dad, trying to, Anyway, I came across this guy, and did I get his, I did. So I found his book, and I got it, and it was called Been There, Done That, Do This. Sam Obitz is his name.
I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
We'll mention that at the end. Yeah.
Been there, done that, do this. And I'll give you like all
awesome.
where you can get it. Because if you go to Amazon, they like charge like $200 for it, but it's like, that's his book, but it's like, I didn't do that.
Right.
They get it and then whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like $12. It's like a 2-day read.
I'm definitely getting it.
I read this book. It hit me on so many levels because he had like suicidal thoughts, and he was dealing with all these similar things, and I go, wow, this guy and I have a connection. So I'm like, I read in the back, if you want to contact Sam, and you gotta like, go through the proper channels. I'm like, I'm never gonna talk to this guy, and I reached out and I said, I really would like to chat with you, blah 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 blah. I think we have a lot in common, and I think you can help me. He tells me to this day, I mean, this is like 7 years later.
Is that how long it was? I knew it was a while.
Yeah. And he works with major athletes. He works with major, like, companies. Teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather not say just because he's one of these guys that, and that's kind of confidential, but I mean, he worked for Nike. He worked with Nike. And I mean, I walked on the sideline, and Phil Knight was on the sideline. It was an Alabama-LSU game, and Sam was like, yo, when you see Phil, if you see Phil, because he's at the game, just say hi. So I'm walking on the sideline, and there's Phil Knight, Nike. I would have never done this in a million years, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to say hi. And guys are trying to talk to him, and he's like kind of just like beelining and doing his thing, and I go, Mr. Knight, mutual friend Sam Obitz, and he was like, stop, and had a conversation with me for like 20 minutes. I got to go to work. They're kicking the
Well, you said the right words.
Yeah, I mean, and it told me, that validated with me that I'm in the right place too, because this guy, this empire, Nike, like, he brings him in to speak, and I mean,
it's amazing.
And so yeah, I found the book. I reached out to him, and when he tells me to this day, like when I read your note, actually I didn't write him a note. I left a message, and his secretary got back to me. Who, I mean, I think his secretary and him are the same person because I've never met them both. But I mean, whatever. If that's how he plays it, that's how he plays it. But I had to go through her, and she wanted me through him to write an essay, 2-page, like whatever it was. I forget if it was a 500-word essay, just saying, how do you think I can make you better? And I wrote this thing, and he said when he read it, he goes, I saw myself completely. And he reached out to me right away, and we've been working together ever since. I actually brought him to CBS Sports. And I said, hey, it's amazing, like you say, men. So I said, guys, I'm having this guy, like a peak performance guy, deals with depression, anxiety, talk. And I think a lot of guys showed up just to support me,
right,
you know?
Right.
But there were some guys there selfishly for themselves too. So anyway, like I thought like 5 guys were coming, and we got this little room, and like 20 of the crew came. 20 guys of the crew came, and my director got me right in my ear as he got there, because we were meeting everybody at the door, and my director goes, I got a dinner plans. I can only stay 30 minutes. I go, man, I'm just happy you came, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, thanks for coming, you know? And he goes, yep. 3 hours later, my director was like...
He never went to the dinner.
No, asking questions and raising his hand, and like, it was like...
Sometimes it just takes one person, and that was you, to get it out there and get, you know, other people involved.
It was great, and so crazy story, like, I was working with Sam because he's a California-based, he's in Manhattan Beach,
nice
surfer.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I know this now, but I knew he was West Coast, and I was doing an event in LA. Now, I had 9 sessions with him. He told me today, 9 sessions. So this was the 10th session we were going to do in person. I never met the guy.
You didn't Zoom or anything?
Nothing.
Just all on the phone.
Oh, wow. So I come down, and he goes, I'll be in the lobby.
Did you picture him a certain way?
Well, I kind of did. I'm like, sure. Like, but when I came down and saw a guy sitting on a chair with his legs crossed, and he didn't say he was, but I just said, please don't be Sam. It just was not who I had pictured. And I'm like, is this going to change everything? Well, luckily for me, it wasn't him. He came around the corner. No. He came around the corner. He was just like in shape, kind of like surf guy.
He's the poor guy with his legs crossed somewhere.
Well, he had the baggy khakis on, and I'm like, how can I work with someone with no style? I mean, this guy has no style. How's he going to help me?
Because you have style.
I know, thank you.
That's for sure.
Thank you. And so I was so relieved that it was not him, and then I met him, and then we've been working together ever since.
For 7 years.
And, you know, I feel like, am I better? Yes. But I feel like it's so important for me to keep on bettering myself and stepping to the next level. And I'll tell you, the information's in the book, and he would say it's 100% effective in making you better and dealing with overcoming these issues of anxiety and depression. But realistically, it's only 95% effective, he says, and that's because 5% of the people actually don't do the work. And I'm still human.
Yeah,
like
of course.
If I find myself not doing...
And you're so busy, Willard. You're traveling all over.
If I find myself not doing the shit that I need to do, or which I know works for me, I kind of start slipping. That foundation starts getting chipped away, and...
It's kind of like anything. You have a bad heart, you shouldn't eat certain foods, but then you're like, well, I'll just take a little bit of the donut or whatever, and, you know, it snowballs. Then. So it's so you think, and I know the skills
that he's taught me, like, I mean, I paid for this, but I'll give it to you and your listeners. Like, the first thing he had me do was make my bed every morning, hotel, whatever. Simple. Like, a lot of people do that, but we do things like now, like he challenged me to get off, social media, brush with my left hand instead of right. And those are stupid, not stupid. Those are things that just are part of it, but the
to
real...
make new habits? Is that why do you think it's like a new...
Or to show your... yes, I think it's to develop different habits and break old patterns. For sure has something to do with it, but like the nuts and bolts of what he teaches is a thing he calls T-forming, which is like you have this thought, I'm a failure, let's just say, and that pings around in there. Well, I can oppose that thought. I'm not a failure. I'm very successful. I'm, happy, and I have kids and grandkids and everybody, whatever. I have a good job. But it's not effective that way. It has to be pen to paper. So I will write that thought, and then I will write the thinking habits that are associated with that thought, and then I will kind of counter that thought or rephrase it in a more realistic thing. And your brain picks up on all that. So I'm a failure. I'm not. I had a bad day today. I'm human. All the days aren't going to be great. And that's just an example. So
did you journal a lot then?
I did journal. Yeah. And I tried to journal.
I'm big on that.
Yeah. Journal's great. And so that pen to paper action is great. I feel like the T-forming gets like tighter to like some of the, and the more you do it, the more comes out. And
you think probably when you're doing it, like, how is this gonna
help?
Or how's this gonna work?
There you go. We could do a T-form right there. These T-forms are a waste of time.
A waste of time, yeah. But they're really not because,
I know from experience that, changing these habits, my thinking, and you asked me earlier, do you think it's like hereditary? Yeah, partially, yes. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. But I tell you, I know I had this is nothing more than a bad thinking habit. You said you struggled for you, for me, and you can overcome it. Oh, another one, because I heard you said, you say should. Like, that's the other thing. He was like the first month I was working with him, I was like asking my family, catch me when I say should. And Tracy said, you're catching us saying it more than us catching you. So I wasn't doing it right, but like...
So we shouldn't say should?
Should is like telling your brain that, like, it's what he would call like a coercive word that it's... Like
I should do that, or as opposed to I am going to do that.
That, or it would be a good idea. I should clean my room. Okay, now it gets... I should clean the house today. Like, you'll say that to yourself, but you don't do it. Now it's fucking banging on you all day, and then you're like, oh, I should, I'm like and then when you say I should clean the room, it goes hand in hand with then the next thought comes, I'm not a good mother because I'm not cleaning the room, and I should clean the room. Like
you get disappointed in yourself.
Yeah, and then it's cascades. And it happens on such a subconscious level that, anyway, he got me to stop saying that, and I was saying it a lot, and I still do too. But
that's amazing.
I try to change the wording to, it would be a good idea to, clean the room. It would be a good idea to clean the room. It's just funny, but your brain picks up on these. So powerful.
An amazing thing, amazing organ, but at the same time, it's.
And I'll say to him, why, I have 58 great shots today, and I have one fuck up, but I gravitate towards that one fuck up. Why does the brain do that? And he goes, the brain doesn't. You have trained it to do that. So it's a habit. It's a habit for you.
So it's breaking habits.
It is. He deals with athletes I caught one ball for 3 attempts. He goes, that's pretty damn good, to his receiver. You 1 for 3? He goes, did you run your routes? Yes. A lot of that shit's out of your control. His receiver will beat himself up because he's maybe I'm not good,
Wow.
But
you can go down a dark path.
Really dark. Like, I'm like, Tom Brady throws interceptions. Like, and so what I do for a living, like, I have, not me, we all have to be on our game, whatever we do. But it was great that I found him because of the anxiety and depression. But then he's really not a psychologist. He is, but he calls himself a peak performance specialist.
I like the peak performance instead of like a life coach.
Yeah.
Or I never heard that peak performance.
Yeah, peak performance specialist.
I mean, how is he now? I mean, he must be.
He went through shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, his story is just as debilitating as mine, and he's amazing.
You told me a story before we started.
Yeah.
What happened to you on the plane? Talk about that.
Oh, you mean like?
Yeah, when you got the anxiety.
Like, I was sitting and I mean, it was.
If you want to.
No, it's fine. Like, I would always like try to like, okay, I gotta get in the window. That's where I'm safe. Or I gotta get in the aisle. That's where I'm safe. And it just didn't matter anymore. It was like all these things that I thought was relating to, you know, I'm having panic attacks because I'm on the road. I'm away from my family. I'm doing the West Coast swing. I'm doing U.S. Open tennis in New York. I don't like New York. I love New York, but I used to like. Anyway,
ways to
just like
sabotage almost.
I was thinking of reasons of why I'm having this shit.
Okay.
You know, and it was anything that I can. You know, first of all, it doesn't matter. The reason or why it's happening is so. It was so important to me. Like, why is this happening? You know, what is the cause of it? And I'll go back thinking bad thinking habits. But yeah, I've gotten off planes. I've put my camera down in the middle of a game, and my director would be like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just needed a couple minutes. I'm back. I'm good."
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's very, very hard.
Right. Yeah. I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
But I mean, to talk about it is just, you know, I'm a big talker. So for me, I'm very open about everything. So, you know, I think that helps in certain situations. I just think with men, you just don't hear it with men.
No, not as much. But
not as much, yeah.
Like Sam says, like he would give big speeches, and the biggest guy, the strongest guy, the most unlikely candidate would always come up to him and go, I have that. Well, everybody kind of is dealing with it on different levels. Mine was really bad.
Really bad.
I mean, I'm sure you and I have talked about it.
Yes, absolutely. I've been through a divorce, as everyone knows. It's tough, you know. Yeah. It's just starting over at 55. Where's your life gonna go? Just anxiety about everything. Can I live on my own? Mm-hmm. Can I function on my own? It's just it's tough.
And that's happened to me too. Like, and you're going through it right now. And this podcast is great. You're drawing a line in the sand. You're like, I'm done surviving. I want to thrive, mm-hmm. and you can, and you just have to change. Shit happens. Mm. Life happens. It's how we choose to react to it that determines where your attitude is. Yeah. You know, and if you know, like Tracy again. Damn my ass.
She's haunting us.
I mean, like, she's just like anything.
She's super positive.
Anything Willard. That happens, like, she's like, it's, you know, meant to be, or we're okay, yes. You know.
But don't you think it helps to have a positive person like that? Or, I know you guys are so funny together, but, you know, I mean, thankfully for her, because she at least can see the positive maybe in what
I think part of me wants to see a little bit of her insecurities, and not that I want to help her, but and I think maybe indirectly I have. And some of the things that I'm doing now through Sam probably are indirectly affecting her. Definitely, I know I wasn't handling my emotions well. And definitely, I know I wasn't I was a support system, but I mean, I know I wasn't.
You were lost for a while, I'm sure. And you had to get back on track.
Yeah.
And thankfully for Sam and all the, you know, your buddies who helped you with filming.
Absolutely.
And the fact that you spoke about it and got it out there, I mean, I just think that is so important,
I agree. Like, the more you can talk about it, you're going to find people that go. I mean, I was very vocal about it.
Were you angry going through it? Like, were you...
Oh my God,
You know, some people, you see some people, or...
And depression is like anger internalized, I think.
Yeah.
Like, part for sure.
So we were talking before, like, some of these symptoms. So just so we can get the symptoms out there to, like, the men and women, maybe if they're experiencing certain feelings. This is so funny. We just said an example might be getting jittery on a bumpy flight. That wasn't your situation.
Now see, I mean, I was definitely not afraid of flying or crashing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I'm just, I mean, maybe there was some kind of, like, I think it was like a...
Claustrophobic?
Not so much claustrophobic, but in a situation that I could not remove myself from.
I get that.
I like being on camera for the next 4 hours doing a football
game. And you're
game.
thinking, like, how am I going to get through these 4 hours?
How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's times I go to work too and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm here for 8 hours. How am I going to do this? With the mindset that you have. And you somehow do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just isn't easy.
I used to make my sisters laugh, and Tracy, like, I feel like I'm a duck on the water. Like, I look really calm on the outside, but underneath the surface,
you're like, your little legs are
they're going.
That's a really good analogy.
Yeah, and a lot of people that, when I started coming, they had no idea. They're like,
because you're so outgoing and positive and fun and funny.
I guess I masked it well.
Yeah. I think we all mask a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure. But the more you talk about it,
the more
people come to your aid, and
I mean, I just think talking about anything, which is really why I'm doing this podcast, talking about issues that people don't normally talk about.
Right.
And if you can help one person out there, if somebody can be watching and think, oh gosh, I feel like that.
Worrying too much. Not Tracy.
She worries.
Self-conscious, not Tracy. Irrational fears, not Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
stomach troubles. You had stomach troubles,
I did.
Right?
All related to stress and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
You get that under control, I guarantee all those other physical...
Mm-hmm. Do you know what I always thought? Like, how people would say, oh, I feel like I have the weight on my shoulders. Yeah. The weight of the world on your shoulders. And I remember at one point, I actually was like, I feel like my shoulders are weight. I feel like there's something on my shoulders. And I'm like, this is the weight of the world. Yeah. Like, not to sound dramatic, but I'm like, I felt that muscle tension, the stress on you.
Terrible.
And it's like, what do you...
hours for me. I mean, all the very, very real and physical ailments for sure.
Yeah.
All created by your brain.
Your mind
is
crazy. Difficulty concentrating, obviously. That's a tough one, especially for you. You're with the
I'm in such a better place. I feel like I'm a better camera operator than I've ever been.
Because you have more focus?
Even Sam, when I was negotiating for a new position at CBS, and there was a lot of stress that came with that new position. It was actually the lead ENG guy, which shoots all the scenics for Thursday Night Football.
Oh, that's right.
When
Tracy
CBS
was telling me about that. Yeah, that's.
And
I always wondered who did that on Thursday. You know what I mean? Like the town. You do the town. And
so me and my partner would do all that stuff, and it's funny. I was working with Sam at the time, and he helped me negotiate my current contract in doing that, with money and everything. Mm-hmm. So he was great in that, awesome. And helped me believe in myself to know, oh shit, I'm not. But like after week 1, the whole Rihanna thing went down. We pulled all that stuff we shot, and I think there was a domestic dispute, so CBS pulled all.
Oh, I didn't know that.
All this shit.
He has an insider.
And I don't know if we could say that, but I guess we can. They pulled all that shit, and then we did a lot of test footage to show them what we can do. Like, it wasn't like really this is what we want you to use, but I don't know if people presented our vision the way we wanted it to be shown. And the higher ups at work were like, we're going in a different direction. We're going to get guys that are from Hollywood, like cinema, movie guys, to do, we want it to feel bigger. And one of my good friends that got me, was always a mentor to me at CBS, was like, they want to go in a different direction. You know, no disrespect, you guys gave it, and I would have never been able to do this without Sam, but I was like, Ken, I can do this. I'll deliver anything you want. I don't think they used what we wanted them to use. Stay with us, and you have to sell us. And like he did, and like the head people making the decision go, that's what I'm talking about. Like almost like they did make a change, and Ken was like, it's the same guys. And like, wow, they're awesome. So we got to maintain that job for the 2.5 seasons that CBS had Thursday Night Football, and we were the guys. But
that's
it was
awesome. But you would have never done that.
I would have been like, you're right. I would have just said, I understand, take it away from us, thank you for the opportunity, backpedaled, I don't believe in myself, but I knew I believed in what we were doing, and he gave me the strength. Or maybe I gave myself the strength with him unlocking it.
Yes.
And so that was a big, like change for me.
Major pivot. I mean, I'm sure he was so, I'm proud of you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
For feeling
and then we still, work on all levels of myself. It's like, it's a work in progress for me.
I think we're all works in progress.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead, what do you want to talk
about? What would you say to men then, that, and women, but mostly men, what to do? What advice would you give?
I would say, talk about it openly. Talk about it with people that you really trust. I wouldn't say get into like a search thing too much, because I was doing that too, searching, where that became obsessive.
Let me just interrupt you for a minute. Some of the myths we talk about. The myths, depression is a sign of personal weakness. That's what people think. I think that's what people have in their head.
I would totally disagree. I think depression is a sign of personal strength. And opening up about it is
I agree. What about real men are in control of their emotions?
Are we in the 50s right now? What are we talking about? Are we in the... I thought we were in the woke
we are
movement.
Woke. We're all woke.
Yeah, so okay, real men what?
Are in control of their emotions and don't let things get to them.
Bullshit.
Bullshit, right?
Yeah.
That's major bullshit. Feeling sad or down is not a manly thing.
I mean, I cry at movies. I cry.
Love that.
I mean, I think it's...
Here's the snapping out of it. Anyone with enough willpower to be able to snap out of it.
Yeah, you know what this is? You see this word ought? That's should. So whoever wrote this shit...
So this isn't good research for me?
No, I get to just trying to tell you, these are some of the... Men
should not ask for help. They should be able to cope on their own.
I agree with this. I think it's a great idea. I'm not going to use should, that guys do it on their... No, of course not.
Right.
Talk about it. I've been so open about it that I've found so many support systems, And it's funny.
And you said in high school you felt like it was...
I did. I had it. I think I was developing very bad thinking habits.
Yeah.
I don't think we're broken. I don't think we're unfixable. But when this shit happens and starts derailing you, you start believing it. And it's hard to stop that mindset from taking over and spiraling out of control. Thankfully, I guess I was at the end of my rope, and I was like, I got to do something.
So would you advise, don't wait until you're at the end of the rope?
The problem is some guys will probably go, I got this shit, until women do too.
Yeah,
women do too.
I'm bad at that.
Tracy's more of a guy than I am, for God's sake. No, but Yeah, I would say sometimes that end of the rope is what's gonna get you
the help you need.
Yeah.
The help you need.
Otherwise, you're just gonna, I mean, for me, I was like, life's too short to like be feeling this way constantly. Oh, I'm just predetermined to feel this way. It's been in my family.
Right.
Well, what's been in my family isn't anxiety and depression. It's negative thinking habits.
That's a difference.
It's a big difference.
That's a big difference.
A habit you can change.
Yes.
But my friend used to tell me, it's in my family. My great-great-grandfather committed suicide, and then my grandfather did it. And I'm like, it doesn't mean you're predetermined to do it, bro. Like, it just means that there's a bad set of principles and thinking habits in line that you can change.
And I think we kind of talked about it before too, how like your family, like if your mom and dad were warriors.
Yeah, my mom, big time
so
warrior.
You saw that.
Strong. I did see
that.
Strong.
Woman.
My mom punched me in my mouth.
Oh no.
She took me school shopping when I was a senior. And I was like, I was probably having major anxiety, but I didn't want to try anything on. And it was raining out. I remember she was just bang, she punched me right in the mouth.
Oh no.
Right in the mall. But I mean, anyway.
Gosh.
I think she was a warrior, and that probably...
We're products of our environment.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
But we can also change that.
I never hold it against her. I mean, that's the thing. Turning all those negatives into positives. Like you were saying, like you have some guilt about, your sons and et cetera for the situation that they're in, and that they kind of struggle with some of this similar things. But are those what you look at as negatives? I think will eventually be like strengths.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be like overcome adversity because of that. And I think anyone goes through it. And I this sounds so fucked up. I used to wish that, can I just have like a broken arm or a broken leg, or even like something physically wrong with me. Give me cancer. I mean,
I know. Believe me, I get what you're saying.
Give me this shit. I can't deal with this shit, but I am so fucking thankful for going through it. I am. I look at it as like such a building block to move me into the direction I want to go in and be a better person.
Because you spoke up.
Yeah.
And you asked for help.
Yeah.
And you were willing to get the help.
Absolutely.
And do the work.
Yeah.
And put the work in.
And that's the thing, doing the work, like how much people were so quick to go, give me a pill. Like I was one of those people too. I want simple, easy fixes. We all do.
Yeah.
But
we're an easy fix society.
This is hard looking at your shit and pulling it out, putting it on paper. I got books of T-forms and journals that they'll lock me the fuck away if they read some of the shit I
remember the first time I went to therapy, they're like, well, let's start when you were 6. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why? But it all makes sense.
Yeah.
It all makes sense to go through your life and what you were feeling. We both went to Catholic school, not distant Catholic school.
Right.
I had major anxiety from the nuns.
Yeah.
And they liked me.
Again,
I'm sure they didn't like you.
Oh, I got hit on the hands constantly. But I mean, it's funny that there's a lot of that common trait, like things that happen. We both went to Catholic school.
Yeah.
I mean, but also what you said, like going back is cool. I mean, I get it. I understand it. But we're dealing with the here and now. And part of the problem, anxiety doesn't exist in the present. It only exists in the future and the past. It doesn't, although in the midst of a panic attack,
it's existing.
But you're probably thinking about something coming.
Foreshadowing something.
Or thinking about something that happened.
That's interesting. I never thought of it like that.
The present moment is
And the present moment is when you're panicking.
Yeah,
you know,
but you're probably thinking about something else.
Gosh.
But like going back, is it important to know that, I don't know, Uncle Charlie touched you inappropriately? I mean, yes, it does, but it doesn't fucking change a thing.
It doesn't change where we are today.
Yeah, we have to adapt skills to cope and deal with what is rather than. So for me, it wasn't about going back to any traumas.
It was like, help me now. What
We all have
do
traumas.
now?
We all have. We all have struggles. Everybody in this planet has
a story
and a struggle for sure.
So that's your advice, basically, to give to men. Just speak out.
Yeah. And the more you talk about it to people you really are comfortable with, I mean, at first, because you open yourself up to someone that isn't in your inner circle.
It's hard.
It is.
It's a hard thing.
Now I can.
Yeah.
But I mean, then being as susceptible as you are then, or as I was, you're like, oh shit, that guy's just now It could be almost like not detrimental, but like moving backwards. I mean, it was hard for me to talk about it with Tracy. I mean,
tell me how you are today. In terms of...
I'm a fucking mess. I'm a fucking mess.
No, you're not.
I mean, like a new person.
A
new person.
That's
I mean, but do I still fall? Yes. I do. Do I still have panic attacks? Yeah, I do. But here's the thing. I'll have a panic attack on the road and I go, fuck, where did that come from? Like, I haven't had that in 2 years. But I used to talk about it like, Sam, I had a panic attack. Tracy, I had a panic attack. But I'll go through a whole session with Sam or talk with Tracy for a whole week and I go, oh, you know what? I had a fucking panic attack last week. I didn't even talk about it. So I can see that it's not
the center of your world.
Right. Just because I have one, I can move on past it.
Because you have those skills.
I'm like, it was a panic attack. They're not going away. Now I can deal with it. Yeah, they don't.
You can cope with it.
Yeah,
deal with it.
absolutely.
And that's so important.
Yeah.
That's so important. Well, I could talk to you forever.
I know.
Actually, but I'm so happy that you came.
Thank
Seriously,
you for having me.
I am so excited.
What do we do, hug?
About this? Absolutely.
Awesome.
Big old hug, and we love you, Tracy. Even though we talked about her.
Yeah, we did. Love you, Tracy.
That's okay. So thank you again, Willard, for coming to the podcast, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much.
Sam Obitz, you can get in touch with him at Super Tao.
Super Tao.
TAO.
Oh, TAO.
Yeah,
okay.
sorry, .com.
I'm going to put this on my Facebook when we
So he is, we don't have to say it. You can say
as well.
supertao.com, and he has a blog and shit.
I love all that.
Yeah, you can get all this free shit from him, and his book is,
Been there, done that, do this.
Yeah,
is that what
but
been there, done that, do this.
I have it.
Yeah, definitely. Let's share that because
and because I want people to
absolutely
look into it if they
Super
are.
What does that stand for? Super TAO.
I mean, it's just it's I would say it's an attitude. It's a mental well-being.
I like that.
Yeah. But
he must be so interesting to talk to. I would love
Tao3.com is where you get the book.
Perfect. Okay. I will share all of this information when we pop.
He makes a lot of notes. So he had this note from the first time we physically first met. Because I sent him a picture.
Hysterical.
I sent him a picture of me doing Steadicam at the Army Navy game, and I'm next to Obama, right? And he goes, met Will for the first time. Shorter than expected, but one hell of a good guy. That's what he said.
That was hysterical. And you kept that. You were next to Obama.
I didn't keep that. He gave that to me today. He said, I made this note the first time we met.
I love how he said that.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So he always says, I make good people better.
Make good people. I love that. Make good people better. Wow. I'm getting his book for sure.
Yeah, I might even have one for you.
Oh,
Sorry, Sam.
No, I'll actually I want to get it for Kyle as well. Yeah,
Easy
for
read.
my boys.
Easy read.
For definitely. So thank you so much for all the information. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Come back anytime, and we'll see you guys all next week. Take care. Peace.